The sound. The sound of West Yorkshire.
Gail Lofthouse. BBC. Radio Leeds.
Well, good day to you. Hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let me tell you what's coming up. Well, of course, we will be keeping our eye on the US election. The results... Well, we probably won't get the full results for a couple of days because of all the postal votes. But we will certainly keep our eye on exactly what is going on right now. Oh, it's so close. It's on a right old knife edge. More from Emily Unia after 10:30. Also today, talking about Gogglefrogs. You're thinking, what on earth is a Gogglefrog? It's a group, it's an online group, and they do knit and natter, but in the virtual world. They've become so popular that they've now got their own merch.
The sound. The sound of West Yorkshire.
Gail Lofthouse. BBC. Radio Leeds.
Good day to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. There's a lot going on in the world of politics. We'll keep our eye on the US, on the election over there. We shall get some experts on to talk us through it. But also, at the same time, we'll try and have a bit of fun. I'm talking to two people who run something called Gogglefrogs. It's like knit and natter online. So if you are a mad knitter and you like to natter, this might be of interest to you. Now, when my next guest set up a virtual knit and natter group at the start of lockdown, I don't think they maybe imagined it would take off quite the way it has. Well, since they've launched the group, it's called Gogglefrogs. They've become live web TV presenters. They've got their own merch. They're planning some sort of Gogglefrogs retreat next year, where hopefully the members will eventually be able to meet face to face. Tonight as well, bit of a milestone, they're presenting their 150th Gogglefrogs show. So to tell us all about it, I'm very pleased to be joined by Angela Bailey and Robert Rowley. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Now, I can't see you two, so we'll see how this goes, because I know you're very, very excited about the 150th Gogglefrogs. If I was to tune in tonight, I don't know if I can, but if I was to tune in, what exactly would I see? Angela, do you want to tell me?
You would see us laughing, giggling, knitting, and because it's an evening show, we would have a little glassette of something in our merch glasses, our gin glasses.
So booze, you're going to be boozing and knitting. I can't think that's advisable. Robert, would you like to tell me how did Gogglefrogs come about?
So way back in March when lockdown started, we'd already talked. Somebody had asked Angela if we could do something online. And so we did 2 pilots to just see how it would go. And then on the 20th of March, we started our first proper show. And it just kind of expanded from there. And we started off with about 12 people, and we now have 140 people subscribed to join us whenever they can.
Wow, that's impressive. And Angela, in terms of the knitting and the nattering, if I was to tune in, would I be working on a project with you, or would I just be doing my own knitting and watching you do something? How does it work?
So we used to meet up in knit and natter groups and have lots of fun and chats and teas, coffees, etc. So you bring your own work.
Right.
They can see us, but you would be able to see us, but we can't see you. Mm-hmm. We've got a chat box. We play happy birthday to people. I will be knitting on my project. Robert's got his projects, and then that's what happens. So you bring whatever you want. Some of our people may do sewing, whatever they're working on, but it's keeping that community, that friendship circle going, when people can't actually go out and mix. So that was the most important thing to us. How do we keep that fun going, our friendships going, and keep talking about what we absolutely love, which is knitting, crochet, natter, anything.
So do you actually just talk about knitting, or do you bring other things in? Do you talk about your own lives, your own week, that sort of thing, or do you keep it very, very focused on the craft, Robert?
Oh no! So we talk about anything and everything, and that's partly where the name came about as well. And the only thing we say is completely off limits is politics.
Right.
But other than that, we talk about anything and everything. We laugh out loud. We tell jokes. We have a Facebook page where we share each other's work and suggested ideas. And you just never know what's going to happen on each show. There's nothing similar about each show other than the hellos in the morning, and we play a little bit of music. But that's it.
Why are you Gogglefrogs? Where does the froggy bit come from, Angela?
Angela, I'll leave that to you.
Okay, so as part of knitting, if you make a mistake, you have to take your work back and unpick it. And because we call it ripping it back, it's rip it, grib it, and that's where the term frogs comes from. So frogging is part of knitting. Whenever you make a mistake, and normally people try and cover up the fact that they've had to take their work back or frog it, whereas I'm actually quite proud of the fact I do that quite often. So when people were watching us like knitting, making mistakes, laughing, chatting, somebody said it's just like Gogglefrogs. Maybe we should call it Gogglefrogs. So we've actually made frogging a normal thing to do, and that everybody's really quite proud of making mistakes. So that's where it came about. And I do lots of frogging. People do say that at times I get so much value out of wool because I will use it 2 and 3 times. But that's where the name comes from.
Oh, well, I love that.
I should just say, Angela is called the queen of frogging.
I can't knit at all.
Creations.
Oh, right.
But
Well,
I do take back.
if I was to join in, do I have to have some basic knowledge of knitting? Is that the idea, or could you teach me? Could I sort of learn myself the basics? What level should I come in at with you?
Well, either or, to be completely honest. You can just join us, so it's just a bit of social activity. You don't have to sit there and knit and crochet. You're more than welcome to just join us to watch for an hour, to have a connection to the outside world. Okay. And I think that's kind of the direction we're heading in as we head towards our second lockdown.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the hardest thing to knit? And I don't mean like a jumper or a pair of trousers or some gloves. I mean, what's the hardest sort of? I'm thinking of like style, like a cable knit, or the really patterned sort of. What's the hardest sort of? Oh, I don't even know what you call it. What do you call it? The hardest. Is it a pattern?
Do you know what? I think the one that most people are really, really scared of, and we're really lucky because we had somebody do a live workshop one day in Gogglefrogs, is something called steeking, and that's when you knit something in often a very elaborate different coloured design, which we call Fair Isle, and then what they do is cut it with a pair of scissors. And so if you're knitting a jacket, you will knit it straight across, and then you do something quite wonderful, and then you cut it with a pair of scissors. And it doesn't unravel. So that's the one that most knitters haven't done. But we had a live workshop by one of our fabulous Gogglefroggers who showed exactly how to do it safely.
Oh, well, wonderful. And if I was to start with some wool, how can I ensure that if I do make a jumper, I don't make a really itchy one? Are there any tips to that at all? Robert, maybe you want to take that?
It depends on the type of wool that you use. So we'd probably suggest that you find a colour or a pattern that you like. And then we'd make recommendations on wool from there. The reason why things are itchy is because they tend to be pure wool. But there are things you can do once you've knitted it to soften it up.
Oh, I see. Didn't realise that. Are you two fully adorned in knitwear at the moment, or are you not quite chilly enough? Are you wearing any of your own creations right now?
I'm not. I'm in my party outfit for tonight.
Right. Okay. Angela, what are you wearing?
I am wearing it's called Knit Night. It's a shawl. And it's out of one of our own wools, which is called Frogs a Goggle.
Oh, how lovely!
So we've named. We were asked to create wool, create merchandise. So we've done that, and so it's a lovely black and yellow, which is our logo colours. It's a lovely shawl that I've done out
fantastic.
of our own wool.
Well, I love it. I've really enjoyed talking to both of you. Just remind us, maybe Angela, how do we engage with you? Is it do we go straight to your website?
Yes, if you go on to gogglefrogs.co.uk, and on the main page, the home page, you will see there's a blog just below the picture of us. That's where you can register for our almost daily knit and natters, and everything else on our website is on there. Our merchandise, we've been asked to set up a retreat, so we exclusively hired a hotel, and that's going next year. And the other thing that we're really, really keen on, we don't want anyone to be on their own on Christmas Day, because it's going to be so different this year. And if you go onto that website, just below our main picture, there's a blog called Knit and Natter. You can register for our Knit and Natter and join us live on Christmas Day at 9:30. So you have some communication with people who think a lot about you.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds wonderful. Angela, Robert from Gogglefrogs, thank you so much for your time. If I was to play you out with a song, do you have a favourite?
Definitely. Frog chorus, please.
I'm not sure about this. I think I've recently promised that I won't play this.
All of our followers.
I'll tell you what. I'll press play, and if my listenership drops below 10, I'll in fact it's already below 10. I'll turn it off. But thank you so much for your time. Lovely to talk to you both. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Don't lie. You enjoyed that. And not only did you enjoy it, you were singing along and you got that little feeling in your chest, you know, when it all goes a little bit, oh, that's so nice. You know it's not cool, but you enjoyed it. Well, I did anyway. On the way then, we'll have a little look on the road, see what's going on. A quick hello to somebody whose name I do not have, but they just say, please could you say happy birthday to the very lovely Georgie Smith. Who is Georgie Smith? Where is she? How old is she? I'm very happy to put her on my list. If it's your special day today as well, then you're very, very welcome to get in touch in all the usual ways. I will add you to my list of celebrities. So here's the list of celebs today celebrating their birthday. If it's yours, happy birthday to you. We already know it's Georgie Smith's birthday, but we don't know where she is or how old she is. But happy birthday. It is also the birthday of Chris Difford, former guest on this particular show of Squeeze. A wonderful, wonderful man. I mentioned this earlier on, Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid. He's 59 today. How old does that make you feel? Here's a name, Loretta Swit from MASH. Do you remember her? She's 83 today. Singer-songwriter Gregory Porter, 49 today. Melandra Burrows, who used to be in Emmerdale. She is 55 today. Sean Williamson, actor. Was he Barry in EastEnders? Have I got that right? He's 55 today as well. And finally, for now, Guy Martin is 39. He is the Fred Dibner of motorcycle racing. He permanently looks grubby. He's the kind of man You just know he just always smells of oil and he's always tinkering with something.